Epic 7 is back, boys. So they just dropped the live stream for the second half of the 7th anniversary, which is more catered towards veterans and older players, I'd say. And there's some huge updates and changes coming to the game that really talk about the quality of life of the game and also just moving forward. So first off, we have the long-awaited ML Ross or Genesis Ross. And I have to say, ever since the high school arc of Moonlight characters, I kind of want to say like the animations and kind of the game felt like it was in a lull. But you're going to see with this character coming out, which is going to be free to play, by the way, which we'll talk about later how you can get. And also the changes coming, you're going to see that there's some very good and big things coming for Epic 7 in the later half of this year. So basically, as you can see, the artwork and animations going into this is of course top notch as expected from Smilegate and Epic 7 here, and you're gonna see that he looks amazing, not just skill kit wise, but his S3 animation looks insane, and his buff that he applies to himself, you're gonna see is probably one of the most broken things you've ever seen in gadget history. So we do have Genesis Ross. He is a light knight. If you guys have any PTSD from light knights, don't worry, you're one of many, including myself. We're not going to talk about that, but basically in Epic 7, every Light Knight is always broken. That's an ML 5-star. That's kind of like the meme. Not really a meme because it's true. But basically, if you want to look at all of his animations and the artwork that goes into it, which I highly recommend checking out, you can check it out on the official Epic 7 channel. They have all of it posted there in this video. But basically, this is Genesis Ross. You're going to see his base stats. He's pretty slow, right? Because he's a knight. But usually knights don't really care about speed, right? They're just going to be super tanky and have really broken skills. So he has very high health and defense. His imprint is health percent, which you will be able to max him out at SSS for free just by playing through the game. And you're going to see that this is his S3. So the animation you saw earlier where he's like throwing down that big holy sword, which looks amazing. It's an AoE attack, penetrates all defense. So, knights with penetrating defense, name a more iconic duo. He also will scale with max HP, so you just build him tanky on health and he does a lot of damage. Also does extra damage to less enemies that he hits, so once you actually start killing off like certain enemies, and also in Guild Wars, especially when it's 3v3, he will do more damage. But the big thing is also going to be in his passive buff that he gets. So at the start of battle, he gets Sacred Covenant for 5 turns. It's undispellable, and you'll see that he cannot be hit with any debuffs or some harmful effects. And also when he dies, he revives with 100% max health. So very broken because 1, not being able to be debuffed is just always very good. And 2, because he's going to be stacking so much health, you're going to see that when he revives, he's basically just going to be an unkillable monster, right? Because he basically has 2 lives, and he's already going to be built very tanky. So this skill is going to be very insane. You're going to see it actually hits very hard. So if you look at the animation here, once again, you'll see it goes in. There's an ML Ilyanov in the front. It does 16k and kills her, right? And you're probably thinking, oh, 16k is not a lot. How is that killing the ML Ilyanov? Is she just not on any defensive stats? Well, you're going to see that's where his S2 comes in. So his S2 is a single target attack. It applies Seal, which is already very good, and Disintegration. And Disintegration is decrease max HP by 25%. And when you do it to heroes, which is ML Ilyanov, right? She counts as a hero. This doubles, so you half their max health. And yes, you can resist it, but you can soul burn it for 10 souls and ignore effect resistance. And if you crit, you get an extra turn, so that's why you combo it with your S2 into your S3. This also scales with your max HP, the damage, but this isn't the reason why you're using it. You're mostly using it for the debuffs because it doesn't hit really hard. And then you S3 after and just pretty much finish off any single knight in the game that's very tanky. And you're probably thinking, oh, don't you need to wait to use this because of the souls? How will he generate souls? Do you have to bring a mage, which doesn't really fit into a lot of, tank down comps? You're going to see that it won't matter if you look at his artifact later on, which is a spoiler, but I'll show you guys later. But basically, this is how it works. You S2, right? You're going to see the damage is very low, but you're usually doing it for the debuffs anyways. And you could soul burn it, of course, to ignore effect resistance. And then you S3 after and kill them like we saw earlier. And then we have his S1, Holy Blade, single target attack, combat readiness push, also scales with his max health, and this is going to also hit harder than you think. You can see it does 5.5k, which is a lot of damage for an S1 from a knight, right? So Yeah, looks like a very broken unit. You're gonna see that he has an artifact as well. This artifact is so strong. It's a health boost, so any health scaling knights already want it. Not want it, but it's very good on them. But you'll see that at the start of your turn, you get 10 souls, and you can do this twice. So it's basically a 20 soul gain. So a lot of knights that like to rely on souls, such as even like ML Crow, for example, they can use this very easily because 1, they scale with health, and 2, you're getting souls for your team. And souls in this game are super, super broken, as you guys already know. And for ML Ross, it's going to be even better because he pretty much needs it to ignore effect resist with his S2 to guarantee that he's going to one-shot stuff with his S3. So very powerful artifact. I think, you know, even if you don't use it on ML Ross, which I don't know why you wouldn't, this will be good on so many different characters. Now, people are probably worried about, you know, how can you actually get this artifact? Do I have to pull for it? Because it's an ML banner. Well, you can see it's obtained through the 7th anniversary check-in event. So this is an anniversary event artifact. And this is like probably the most broken one we've ever had because, yeah, it's the 7th anniversary and it is super, super, super strong. Now, basically, they do say that you can get it for free by completing the mission's Divinity Recovered, which is basically like, I don't want to say a check-in event, but it's basically like a quest you do. And you're going to see that they do say you can get him starting on August 28th. And if I skip ahead, you'll see that, you know, there's some of the quests. I don't know if they show us exactly, but basically just get it for free by doing quests. And it's going to take a while for newer players, they said, but you will be able to get him eventually. Now, we also have ML Mercedes being teased here, so people expected her to release as well. They don't actually show her skills in this, you know, showcase, but it's mostly teasing her animations and how she's designed. And she looks pretty badass. I can see 2 big reasons to pull for her already. Yeah, they're zooming in on purpose. You know, we all know they're not zooming in on these like devil flying things. They're zooming in on something else. But basically, basically she looks pretty good, and you're gonna see that her animation is also amazing. I'm just gonna skip ahead a bit because you can see it in the official channel. But basically, she's from the same world as Briar, which is Saria, which is great. And I think they show her animation somewhere where it looks, yeah, this is her animation. And yeah, I mean, there's no way that doesn't hit for like a crazy amount of damage. So that is ML Mercedes also coming in a banner. So we should be pretty excited for that. There's a lot more you can see when I'm mousing over design that goes into it. You guys can check that out. But I'm here to talk more about the game changes because I think the ML units most people knew about. But now we're going to talk about the changes coming to the game for the second half of the year that are going to really tackle the quality of life in this game that made a lot of people, including myself, kind of spend less time in the game or even flat out quit. But with these changes that were pretty much the biggest needed changes for the game, they're coming to the game now, and I think you actually now might want to come back, and you'll see why with these series of screenshots that I've professionally prepared for you from the live stream, so you guys don't have to watch the entire like 2-3 hour live stream that pretty much talks about the biggest points about the changes coming that I think you'll be very happy about. So first off, you'll see we have this like equipment preset. So I know it's kind of hard to see. Can I actually zoom in? Yes, I can. Technologia. And basically, it's in Korean, so I'll basically translate it. But what they said was it's an equipment preset, but it's not really from what I'm looking at. Because basically at the bottom, you'll see in the green, that's how many times you can actually use it. It's 5 times. So I believe that's probably 5 times a day. You can have 20 of these presets, that's the top number here, saved. And the saved presets only go for 15 days. So it's basically like if you have a gear set equipped on like your Violet, for example, and then you like switch it off to a different character, you can then reverse it 5 times a day. So not really the best preset that, you know, we're looking for, but it is something. But the biggest thing is that they're making Unequip completely free here. So Unequip is completely free now. That makes me wonder, why don't they just include presets then? Because it's like so annoying to go through gear still. But presets being free is very, very good and a great change to the game. Not presets being free, Unequip being free. That way, you know, you don't have to spend a lot of gold doing guild wars and moving around your teams. Also, there's like a new way to, you know, clean up your equipment, which is going to make it a little bit more easier because managing your equipment can actually just like take a lot of your time in the day, and it's very annoying to go through and like roll stuff. So they'll have like this managing system. It'll also recommend you gear that you want to keep and recommend you to sell, which is going to be very interesting. And on top of that, the inventory slot will go up from 700, what it is now, 500, what it was a long time ago, now up to 900, which is great. I think it should be even higher, but it is a step in the right direction, I guess. 200 more slots. On top of that, they're adding 2 new equipment sets, and these sets look amazingly strong. The first one on the left that you saw is Reversal Set. It's a 4-piece, increases speed by 15%, and there's a secondary effect on top of it. When you revive, you get turn meter pushed by 50%. So it's going to be very good on stuff like Ruel, or even any knight on Holy Sacrifice, which makes it, very good on those characters, especially for Guild Wars. On top of that, the second set, the Riposte set, is going to be for evasion characters. It just gives you a 70% chance to counter when evading. So Remnant Violet, Afternoon Soak Flan, be prepared for their dominance again, because this is going to be super good on them and just have them counter so often without relying on artifacts too much to actually counter. On top of that, they're adding this like new game mode. It's called Unworldly Breach, I believe, and this is going to be a system where you use currency, which you can actually get for using energy. And this area of content is very good because by farming it, you'll be able to get this type of gear. One, you'll be able to get new sets. The new sets won't drop in a new hunt or like be added. It's going to be from this like new game mode. But also you'll get gear that drops without integer-based stats. So what this means is that you don't have to worry about getting low rolls into your gear. You just need it to roll into the right stat. Now, of course, this doesn't actually make it so that you can get better gear than you already have, but it'll just make it so that, you can actually get gear without having to roll for, good substats. You just have to hit the ones that you want. And obviously, you're still going to want to roll ones with high base scores. You don't actually, get screwed over in the end. But it's great because you can't get screwed over by bad rolls anymore. So thank God this is in the game now. So that's a great change I'm excited about. This otherworldly difficulty will also be added to hunts. So there's a new difficulty for hunts. This also requires spectral cores. And this will also give the same type of gear where you can't really low roll any gear. Now, I expect the difficulty to be pretty hard because this type of gear is going to be very late game, but they're also going to be increasing the drop rate of all equipment by 15% from hunts, which is insanely good. Actually, that's not that big of a change, but still good. On top of that, these otherworldly breaches, I think I put these in the wrong order, but basically like this game mode that has like this otherworldly breach, because it costs so much energy, and I guess the same with hunts, because that otherworldly game mode is also going to require spectral cores, which costs a lot of energy, will give you a ton more rewards. I think they said it's triple the rewards. So you can see you get 8 pieces here after completing one run, and of course these are the pieces that have that one piece, I believe. I don't think it's every single piece that drops, but you get like some pieces that can't roll poorly into the substats. So even though this seems insane, you have to keep in mind that this is going to be a random drop. It's not going to be every single piece you get. You can see like this, the left question mark like equipment here, it has like this purple fog on it. Those are the pieces that can't actually roll poorly and will always have integer based rolls. So you can see out of 8 pieces he got, so one run, he got 1 piece. So, not actually as good as it seems, but it's still a good thing to get gear that can't be bad. They're also changing it so that Trial Constellations is being changed a bit. Nightmare difficulty will give you the same rewards as Perdition does now, and then Perdition is going to be like a seasonal thing for extra rewards, so you don't have to like bust your balls to make your Perdition team, because even if you can only clear up to Nightmare, you'll be getting the majority of the great rewards that it already gives. So those are like the biggest changes in my opinion that are coming to the game. They obviously have more coming out later on, but basically the new Moonlight characters and the equipment changes and like just QOL, and this is all set to release in 2 weeks, so we're not gonna have to wait that long. It's coming out very soon, and after that they said that they're gonna release another roadmap with more changes to come for the later half of the year. But before I end the video, I have to tell you guys there is a code that they also are giving us, and I did save the best for last, but I'll also put it in the comment section in case you just want the code. But basically, you just type in EPIC7 thank you heirs in the coupon code, and you will be able to get a 20 speed necklace, 100 Molagora, 77 gold transmit stones, and a 5-star ML summon book. So yeah, that is a great gift for the 7th anniversary. As expected, we are getting even more rewards. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video though, guys. Epic 7 is back, baby, and I'm probably going to be playing more now and releasing more content on it. So make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe if you want to see it, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.